What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I am your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me as always. We're rolling. NFL is rolling. Week 1 in the books. Week 2 on the horizon. We're going to do a little last week this week. We'll talk about week 1, all the things that happened. Caleb Williams, the Bears, Aaron Rodgers, Bo Nix and the Broncos struggled a bit. Kansas City took an L in Brazil, which I'm sure Big Nick the Quick will have a couple thoughts about. Last week, this week, Thursday Night Football, a lot of stuff coming up here in week 2. We'll do all the overreactions. We'll talk about week 1 quarterback. Should we already move on to the rookie out in New York, Jackson Dart? A lot to talk about there. Then we'll go over to the NBA. Adam Silver, hot off the press conference, little off-season talk. Maybe he misspoke, maybe he didn't. There's a clip going viral on social that he essentially says, this is a highlight league. If you can't watch the games, you can catch the highlights and you'll be A-OK. We'll talk about that. We got a rule change as well. All the half-court heaves no longer go against said player. They're now team field goals. I want to talk about that with Big Nick the Quick. Some people are up in arms about that, and we'll close it out with, hey, man, something that's bothering us, sports, society, whatever it may be. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. Let's get to it.
Man, look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Big Nick the Quick, what's happening?
How we feeling?
Back rolling, baby. Feeling good.
Yes, sir.
It was, I had a fun weekend. I was in Tampa, and I just got the Arsenal third kit in. So I had to throw that in. I had to throw the hat on, too. I'm full Arsenaled out because it's the only squad of my squads I can trust right now. So I got to support them.
Next season is right around the corner, man. What are you talking about?
That's true. And they will be going to the finals, by the way. Keep that in mind. That'll be fun. But yes, Arsenal, third kit. I go to London next week to watch 3 matches. I'm thinking about vlogging it. I don't know if I want to deal with the nuisance of it, but I might do that. But yeah, man, it was a fun weekend. What'd you get into? Fun week. Man, we're back.
Man, just lay low, man. I was looking forward to Sunday all weekend, so kind of just chilled. Saturday unfortunately watched a little bit of college football on Saturday. Sunday was the real holiday. I traveled a bit this week, so I was just chilling the end of the weekend, man. Nothing too crazy.
Okay, I like it. Let's jump into it. NFL Week 1. Last week, this week, I mean, we talked about our favorite storylines coming in. We talked Baker Mayfield, who had another good game, got a win against Atlanta. That was a really fun game. I watched that actually down in Tampa with the home crowd, so that was fun. Baltimore was another talking point, one of the best regular season games I've ever seen. Anything you want in a game, that had it. Tip balls for touchdowns, late first half field goals. That's one of the longest seconds I've ever seen.
Yeah.
For him to catch that ball, get the foot down, inbounds, and then out of bounds to stop the clock was crazy. I mean, we know what happened in that game, right? But talk to me about last week before, because I don't want to spend the whole time talking about the Bears because we're going to get into that. So I want to get the other stuff out of the way.
Sure.
Talk to me about the Chiefs. How'd you feel about that game? And then let's talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets and what my boy looked like in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs obviously took a loss in Brazil. First off, the Brazil game is ridiculous. I don't know why we're traveling.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't know why. Of all the places, I understand trying to spread the game, but Brazil is a soccer nation. Nothing's going to really replace that. I don't know.
Stadium was packed.
Yeah, stadium was definitely packed. I mean, it's something to do. But, listen, we know this. When there's stuff to do, people are going to go do it. You know what I mean? So obviously, with the NFL game being there, like, I'm not really upset about it, but I just think it's kind of funny of all the places, Brazil. But definitely shout out Brazil. They showed out for the Chiefs Chargers. Look, man, I think the Chiefs it's the same story we've been talking about the last couple of years. They obviously have some issues with these skill position players. I do think it was interesting that after Worthy went out, it seems like they really had no pivot. And they kept talking about on the broadcast, like, well, they had a Xavier Worthy-centric game plan, which is terrifying if that's kind of like the focal point of your game plan. Like, I like Worthy.
He's the guy that stretches it out for them, though.
Good second-year player. But when you lose a guy like that and it destroys your whole offense and you're out of rhythm for the rest of the game, I think that's alarming. So we'll see how they bounce back. But I'm not sounding the alarms on the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. It's 1 week. Obviously, the Chargers came in that game ready to play. Chiefs had some issues, but we know how this is going to end, man. I think we're in Brady territory with Mahomes, where it's kind of like, hey, talk to me in December. Talk to me.
Is there anything that can happen for you to say anything negative about the Chiefs?
Oh, I can say plenty negative about their roster. Their roster has a lot of issues.
Or do you just shrug off every time it's just a loss? Oh, it's just a loss, no problem. Super Bowl, they got dusted, no problem. It's just, it is what it is. You know, the Eagles, they ran into a buzzsaw. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. What needs to happen for you to be like, I don't know, man, maybe this roster is not enough for Patrick Mahomes? Maybe because I would
say it's been happening for the past 2 years. The roster hasn't been enough for Patrick Mahomes, and they've been to the last 2 Super Bowls. What are we talking? They won a Super Bowl when they had 27 drops from the wide receiver position. They went to the Super Bowl last year behind that horrid offensive line. So I mean, like, until I guess what would take for me to say something or say it's not going to happen? I need to see it not happen.
No. I didn't say not happen. I said something negative.
Oh, there's plenty of negatives about the team. The offensive line, I know it's rebuilt, still didn't look amazing the other day. The receivers are terrible. You got some holes on this team for sure. But if you want me to come out here and say that I'm worried about a team that's won more games than anybody over the past 5 years and has been in 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls, what do you want me to say?
You know, just like me, I don't want to hear about 3 years ago. Every single year, it's a new calendar. In the
last year. Okay, we're still in this calendar. The year before that, 21-4 in the playoffs. What are we talking about? We just had this conversation.
I'm worried about Hollywood Brown. That was supposed to be a big addition.
Yeah.
He doesn't get separation, doesn't make the plays that I thought he would. Xavier Worthy is that guy for them.
Tyreek's coming home. You
think that's real?
I don't know. If they can get him for cheap, it makes the most sense. Like if
Herbert
you're Miami, if I'm Miami and I'm just looking to get rid of him, which I think they probably should, because that talk about a disaster. The Miami Dolphins are an absolute disaster. I got thoughts on that too. But
let's talk about that because really quick, I like that because I think in the NFL it's very different when you come into the year and everyone's talking about how bad you're going to be. And then you get dusted off like that by Daniel Jones in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
The fire, it starts to get really hot in the kitchen extremely quickly. And that's what we'll talk about the Bears as well. But yeah, let's talk about McDaniel, singular, and the Dolphins and Tua. It feels really nasty out there.
Well, look, this is why if you spend the whole summer basically saying your coach is on the hot seat, this guy is the first guy to get fired. They run a soft program. Like, it was nothing good coming out of their camp all year. You should just fire your coach at the end of last year. Like, it's clear you want to fire this guy. It's clear that if it starts off bad, you're going to fire him. So why even go into the year with him in this situation? Like, now every single thing they do, you're pretty much on Mike McDaniel watch. It was kind of like we talked about. It's a different situation, but it's like we talked about with the Bengals last year. Like, you and I talked about this the first week. We're like, hey, there's not been a good story that came out of that camp the entire summer. Jamar Chase is pissed off. T. Higgins is pissed off. This doesn't work. It's like if you come into the season with all these bad vibes and nothing good is being talked about with you, that shit carries on into week one. So we saw it with Cincinnati last year. You're seeing it with the Dolphins this year. You saw it with the Cowboys to an extent. I thought they actually played pretty well on Thursday, but still, like, carrying all those bad vibes into the year is not good. And you're seeing it with Miami. Like, it's clear they've wanted to make a move from their head coach. That's what all the rumblings are. Why even bring him into this year? Now guys are sitting here looking like, hey, we're not even going to be playing for this guy. Like, you probably already developed that I'm out for self mentality in Miami.
I mean, he was one of the Tua Tagovailoa.
Someone called him Tua turned the ball over.
My girl Tristan Crick said the Polynesians said they don't rock with him no more. They don't identify with him.
Oh man,
like it's really bad over there for him. And when you get paid, it's really nasty. I mean, he was
always shaky. He was always shaky though. He was always a product of that system, which was all about timing and getting it out quickly.
Yeah.
Right. And if the first or maybe second read was there, Tua was great. If you throw them off any time, and this goes for their whole offense, if you throw their timing off at all, that offense has nowhere to pivot. He doesn't know what to do. McDaniels doesn't know what to do. Like, it's all that smoke and mirrors pre-snap, guys going over here and this guy's in motion over there, and it's all meant to confuse you. But once you get a grip on it, which we've seen happen to them the last few years, you kind of figure it out.
No doubt. And if we could go through the eye test, the analytics test, expected points added, EPA, he was third worst, only behind Cam Ward, who's a rookie, and Bryce Young, who's in a really tough situation in Carolina. Yeah. And Russell Wilson, top 5 EPA at the bottom of the league. So I should say that, 27 through 32. Bryce Young, Cam Ward, Tua Tagovailoa, Russell Wilson, JJ McCarthy. EPA per dropback. You know who the best in the league EPA per dropback was this week? Justin Fields.
Shout out to Justin Fields. He was awesome.
Tua Tagovailoa, EPA per dropback was the worst in the NFL this week. I mean, we've talked about this for years. When he gets off timing, off rhythm, he doesn't have it. Someone on the Colts, I can't remember the safety's name, came out and said number one game plan was get him off his first read, and he's dust.
It's done.
Yeah, man. I don't know what happened to this Mike McDaniel motion. He's going to be able to just scheme his way through games because that shit is out. And just like we always talk about, Nick, when that stuff starts to dissipate, it's really easy to make fun of those big-ass sunglasses you got on. It's really easy to make fun of those goofy pants you got on with the off-white shoes. Like, all that stuff starts to get
and how goofy
amplified.
You are in general. You saw it in Hard Knocks. Like, he's goofy. He's goofy. He doesn't really command a room that way, But
he's not comfortable in his skin like that.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
Or he is, but it's not the type of skin that is, the NFL players are not. I don't know, man. Whatever it is, they're not responding. The team is being called soft all over the place. That's why, again, I say, like, if that's what you're going. It ended the season that way, right? Like, we were hearing these rumblings last season. So if that's what's going on, just move on from your coach. Like, he's going to get fired in the middle of the season. Like, it's a given at this point. And that's going to submarine your season if it's not already tanked. Okay.
Look, because this is going to be the theme of the episode either way. So you
move on.
Man, that's everybody's first answer immediately. Just move on right away. Everybody's patience in the NFL is insane.
Well, but he's been there for a while.
Hey, how about this? How about this for a transition? People were ready to run out Aaron Rodgers week in, week out. He went on the road and put up numbers and looked like vintage Aaron Rodgers. Do we need to relax with these confirmed move on spots? What'd you think of Aaron Rodgers, what he did in his first game, healthy? Because
the Aaron Rodgers situation is different. Okay. I don't think that anybody was saying. At least my issue.
This is with Rich Aaron coming
Rodgers,
from you.
My issue with Aaron Rodgers wasn't that he couldn't play ball anymore. Nor was I surprised that he played ball well on Sunday. My issue with Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers, right? And I think why it might work in Pittsburgh is a lot of that Aaron Rodgers bullshit just isn't going to happen there. A, because I think he's just old and kind of like whatever. And B, is Tomlin's not allowing that nonsense. So I think in New York, my issue with Aaron Rodgers has always been Aaron Rodgers, how he carries himself, how he handles himself, the things that he says, and the whole situation that comes with it. And I think it blew up in New York. I don't blame him entirely for the Jets situation. Look, he tore his Achilles in the first game of the first year and then spent last year kind of coming back. And if you look at it, by the end of the year, he was playing pretty good ball. But I just think the whole thing that comes along with it.
So you just don't like Aaron as a guy.
I don't really like Aaron as a guy. But I'll say this. I'm not surprised that he's playing well in Pittsburgh. But I will blame him for part of the New York. Yeah, we'll play him for part of the New York situation because they let him essentially run the franchise for 2 years, and you got absolutely nothing out of it. So, but it has nothing to do with his on-the-field ability. It never has. I've just always felt like he has had an inflated view of himself. He's always acted like he's the smartest guy in the room. When he opens his mouth, it's always some bullshit. And the whole way in which he carries himself is kind of just like, hey, look, bro, you won one Super Bowl way back in the day against the Steelers, and after that, never really had any like super success outside of your individual level. For being honest, right? Like he somehow escapes the whole like playoff conversation and all that shit. But look, I'm happy for him, man. I think he's going to do well in Pittsburgh. I think that's the best quarterback they've obviously had since peak Roethlisberger. So I'm not. It never had anything to do with him and how he plays football. I got to clear that up. I just don't like him. I don't like anything about him.
136.7 on the passer rating this week for Aaron Rodgers.
It was a great game.
It's only behind Lamar Jackson, who obviously took an extremely tough L, but he was only 14 of 19 throwing the rock. They were running the ball down Buffalo's throat. Let's talk about that game really quick, and then we'll get into the Bears. The biggest takeaway from that game for me was that Buffalo's defense is going to get absolutely shredded. Everyone talked about the comeback. Josh Allen was lights out. Of course, he's been lights out for almost 3 straight years. Maybe even you could call it 3.5, where he has just been playing top ball. 2 years ago, did he turn it over a bunch? Yes. Last year, he cut those. That was the only issue he's had. He looked amazing on Sunday night versus Baltimore. But what I saw is that defense is going to get destroyed week in, week out. Taylor Rapp, undersized safety. I like him. Yo, I got love for his effort and his game, and he brings it. He's not good enough. He's too small. He's not big enough. I think that's an issue for them. Ed Oliver played out of his mind. For him to strip Derrick Henry.
That was ridiculous.
I think a lot of people are giving Buffalo a pass on defense, saying it was just Baltimore and they're going to be able to run the ball on a lot of people. They had explosive play after explosive play. Baltimore did whatever they wanted on offense throughout the entire game. They made some mistakes. Should they have gone for that 4th and 3? You can argue that. But their defense didn't get any stops either. But they also weren't on the road in game 1. And they weren't playing some, you can argue, the MVP and the best quarterback in the league. So I think I give a little more leeway to Baltimore's defense for the situations they were put in. Like once the fumble put them in the red zone automatically.
Yeah.
There was a couple different spots that Baltimore's defense was put in difficult situations. But for me, Baltimore was doing whatever they wanted on every series. And that's worrisome for me for a team that's talked about in the Super Bowl conversation and coming out of the AFC. And the AFC comes through Orchard Park. I'm not so sure about that. The defense, I have a lot of questions about. So I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, Buffalo's awesome. I definitely share your concerns with the defense. As far as the whole Super Bowl comes through Orchard Park thing, I think the media has wanted to anoint Josh Allen for years. They were finally able to, somewhat anoint him last year with the MVP thing. But I've never seen a guy who it seems like the loudest voices want to win more than Josh Allen. Like, again, I think that's why he was able to steal that. I think that's why he was able to steal that MVP last year. I think it's why even the year, it was like for 3 years, is this the year that Josh Allen's going to win the MVP? Is this the year that Josh Allen's going to win an MVP? And then this year, after week 1, right? After week 1, it's like, hey, all roads go through Buffalo. This is almost, if we want to venture into sort of A-man territory, it's like, hey, man, let's slow down after one week of NFL football with all these super hot takes, and this is how the rest of the season is going to unfold. Like, we don't know anything right now. I'm sure we could pull up last year's week 1 games and have a whole bunch of hot takes that didn't end up coming to fruition. So we really need to calm down with all this. Hey, Josh Allen's going to win the MVP here. He's unequivocally the best player in the NFL. All roads go through Orchard Park. This Bills team, they're after last year, they're ready to go. And it's like, listen, man, they still lost to the Chiefs. They still lost to the Chiefs in the playoffs, right? What did Jordans used to say? You still got to come through Chicago. You still got to go through Kansas City.
Yeah,
I know we're going to go back here. You still got to go through Kansas City until you don't.
Or Baltimore.
So you're asking me, no, but you asked me earlier, like, what does it take for me to say something with you still got to go through Kansas City until you don't. You still got to prove you can win that game at Arrowhead if you have to go there. Right?
Yeah, and going back to last episode, we talked about how nothing Lamar does in the regular season is going to matter. The more I think about it, Josh Allen doesn't get that stigma as much as Lamar does.
No.
They both deserve it.
No, yeah, exactly.
But let me ask you this.
Not. Josh Allen has flamed out just as many times in the playoffs as Lamar. Have they been in the league the same amount of time?
But flamed out might be the wrong word because a lot of these losses, Josh Allen's also putting up 40 points. Like, what did Baltimore put up? What did Baltimore put up last year? Like a couple touchdowns.
When they lost to Baltimore, when they lost to the Bills in the playoffs.
Yeah, what was the score?
Wasn't that a high scoring game?
What was the score of that game last year?
Yeah, I'm looking up right now. I thought that was a high scoring game, but you could.
Yeah,
it was 27-25.
27-25. What was the? Yeah. There was a year. Whatever. What I'm getting at is, I think in a lot of people's eyes, Josh does every single thing he can do, and they lose. And Lamar will have a turnover here, have a mistake here, and.
But so does. But yeah, Lamar loses fluky playoff games in which his fucking all-pro tight end drops balls in the end zone.
Yeah, I think
2-point conversions in the end zone. It was a 2-point conversion, right?
Yeah, it's 2-point conversion.
2-point conversion to tie up the game, 27-27. That's not on Lamar. I think Lamar has some of the flukiest losses you could look at. They're fluky.
I think they're both in the. I think in conclusion, they're both in the same situation.
They're both in the same situation.
They both are good enough to win these games, and they can't seem to get over the hump, and that's an issue when we talk about regular season ball. But that game overall,
the Kansas City Chiefs.
That game overall,
the hump is the Kansas City Chiefs, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that guy. That's the hump.
Andy Reid.
That's why I'm not worried. That's why I'm not worried, man. And I hate that, you put me in this light of massive Chiefs fan, which I'm not.
You're a huge Chiefs fan.
No, I'm a fan of Mahomes. Is really what it is.
You're actually a huge fucking. You have fucking red on right now.
I'm a Mahomes.
You're
fan.
Fucking huge. Is that a Chiefs sweater?
No, it's a Nike sweater. Shut up. I don't deviate from the plan like you with the 3 stripes.
Oh wow!
But I'll keep it consistent. But listen, I'm more of a Mahomes fan, is what it is. Just like I was a Brady fan. Because I remember one year we had the same conversation about Brady and the Patriots. It was the year that they ended up beating the Rams in the Super Bowl. It's when we had the studio in person, and you were like, "How can you believe in this Patriots team?" Because remember, they were barely winning ball games. The offense looked trash.
Yeah, it was the same thing as last year, and they got dusted.
Who?
The Chiefs.
Where'd they get dusted?
In the Super Bowl. Oh, okay. I thought Pat just played for Super Bowls nowadays. That's all I thought.
Yeah, that's all right. Brady lost 3 of them, but he won 7.
All right, look, we got 23 minutes through. Let's talk about the Chicago Bears, man. I'll kick it off, Nick. I've never seen the Chicago Bears fans' patience this thin, and I understand it. I get it, but what are we doing here? Caleb Williams played a bad half. The first 2 quarters, he played well. The second 2, he played poorly. He missed some balls. There's no doubt about it. I heard on the radio this week that I heard Ben Johnson and Matt Eberflus's name in the same sentence this week in Chicago. They had 1 bad half of football. What are we doing here? It's his first game as a coach. It's Caleb's first game under him. Is Caleb showing? So we talked about last week how Caleb has shown flashes of being really good, and he also showed flashes of being really bad. He did the same thing in week 1 under a new coach. Let's pipe down a little bit. Our projected wins is 8. We lost to a team that has the same coach, same personnel outside of the quarterback. And the quarterback played like shit until the final 4th quarter, where he did show great flashes, but he's getting a little too much credit, and Caleb is getting smoked. And I think where do we go from here, Nick? Like the patience. I'm worried that if he throws, I'm worried if Caleb comes out and has a bad first quarter, they're gonna want him out of the game. Like, don't we know the situation we're in? What are we doing? Why are we trying to run guys out after 1 bad half of football? I don't get it. The negativity needs to subside quite a bit, but
that's not going to happen, though. I mean, look, that's not going to happen. I think the rumblings were there all training camp in the off season. You know, people, or during training camp, if Caleb missed a few passes, it was the end of the world, and and all that. I think there's always been a group of people who are just against Caleb to begin with. But look, man, let's be honest. When you have a performance like that on national TV, we talk about it. When you're in that standalone game, when the lights are the brightest, especially on a Monday night when you're the only game there, only game that day, and that happens, and people are kind of waiting to dance on your grave, that's going to be the reaction that you get. I mean, what do you expect? Look, that was a bad game. I'm with you on the. I'm not ready to like condemn Caleb and say he's going to be terrible. Like I think some of the overreaction is crazy. But when you look at that game, for 75% of the game, the Vikings were begging the Bears to win. It was like, hey, please win. Like whatever you want to do, win. JJ McCarthy can't get the snap off. Every single snap was that 1 second, or he's going to delay a game. He threw a pick six to start.
We gotta go. We gotta go. You call him. They call him the mic. We gotta go.
Yeah. He threw a pick six to start the third quarter, right? Just right out the gates, throws a pick six to a fucking former practice squad guy. And offensively, they couldn't do anything. Whereas on the Bears side, we couldn't score any touchdowns. We couldn't move the ball. After that first drive that looked so good, we could not do anything offensively. So they begged for us to win that game. So naturally, you're going to zero in on the quarterback's mistakes. I also think Aikman, who did a good job of kind of being fair towards – he was balanced, right? Everybody was going crazy during the first drive, he's like, hey, that was nice, but this was here and this was missed. This was here and this was missed, right? So I think because Aikman did such a good job of pointing out the misses that other guys might not have been able to, like, if we really want to talk about it, a lot of that was on Aikman because he kept going back to, but look, you see this right here? You see Odunze on this? You see this on here? He sailed this ball. You mix all that together, then with the fact that they lost that game in the way that they did, which wasn't all on Caleb. There were some Ben Johnson mistakes in that game, right? He should have, you know, and I know, as much as you love Santos, he does not have a big leg. Like, he can do a lot of – there's a reason why, like, under 50 yards, the guy's like 99%. Over 50, he's like a 70% kicker. He doesn't have a big leg at all.
And this is not something that has creeped up on him or any, like, later in his career.
We know this.
He's been an accurate guy, never a big
doesn't have
guy.
So on that kickoff, when you're like, hey, man, boom this out the end zone, and you know that that's not what he does, kick the ball out of bounds and have him start on the 40.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's something where, like, look, Ben Johnson, and he's a rookie head coach. It's a lot different when you're only calling the offense. Head coaches manage the game. And we talk about this.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time.
The hardest thing about with head coaches is game management. You have got Mike McCarthy was a head coach for a decade plus in the NFL and still struggled in clock management situations. It's a tough thing, and it's a big change from being a coordinator to being a head coach. And I think you saw it in moments with Ben Johnson there. Right? Like, in that situation, you got to know your personnel, know your kicker can't put it out the end zone and do something different. The other thing is the running game. I said at the beginning, I tweeted it. How many years are we going to parade DeAndre Swift around as an RB1? That's not what he is. He is a thunder and lightning guy. He's lightning, but we don't have thunder. You got to have someone else. You can't have him as your number one back. That's not what he does. He's a guy where you design certain plays that try to put him in space, and he uses his athleticism and his cutback and all that to make it happen. But if you're sitting up there trying to hand him the rock 20 times a game, it's not going to work. So not establishing a run game, that's going to hurt your quarterback every time. I felt that there were plays that they were throwing it because Ben Johnson had no confidence in the run game. And they asked him about it. And Ben Johnson said, I didn't feel the run game had any rhythm, because it didn't. So now you're putting Caleb in a throw every down situation when you're winning a ball game. That's the other thing. When you're winning, he's throwing the ball every single time. Even if it's just short routes, he's throwing the ball every single time. So if I'm Flores, right, I recognize that. I say, fuck it. We're just going to tee off on this guy because we know his clock isn't right. We know he'll see ghosts. We know he's on his fourth offensive coordinator in 18 games. I'll say that one more time. Only the Chicago Bears have a stat like that. 4 offensive coordinators in 18 games. 4 offensive coordinators in 18 games. That is crazy. That's a new offensive coordinator every month they're in the league. Every 4 weeks, right? So it's not all on Caleb, but there's a lot that Caleb has to do better. So 2 things can be true. But this was my worry kind of coming into the year is like, man, there's other things with the Bears that aren't right. Like, we did not address the running back room. You got the right side. You talked about the right side of the offensive line, the two light-skinned brothers. I don't know what they were doing. Jonah Jackson and
Jonah Jackson
was horrific.
Jackson was bad.
So was Darnell Wright. They were horrific.
Darnell Wright was better than Jonah Jackson.
Jonah Jackson was horrific.
Apparently, Darnell Wright didn't allow a pressure.
But he gave up a whole bunch of false starts and holdings and all that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So it's interesting. It's a really interesting spot because these are Caleb Williams' numbers in the first half. QBR 86. He was 13 of 16, 112, no sacks. QBR in the second half was 33, 8 of 19, 98 yards, 2 sacks.
Threw the ball 31 times.
Hey, JJ McCarthy through 3 quarters, his QBR was 5. He was 7 of 12, 56 yards, 3 sacks, and a pick. And then the fourth obviously went ballistic, 6 of 8, 87 yards, no sacks, no interceptions. He had 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing. QBR was a 99.
Hey,
overall, go ahead.
I'm fine with JJ McCarthy. I'll say that. Fine with JJ McCarthy.
Why you say that?
The throw to Aaron Jones was big time. The throw to Naylor was big time. The touchdown run was big time. The confidence, I'm there. I said it last week. I thought this guy's going to be good. I'm there with McCarthy. I don't care what it looked like for the first 3 quarters. Saw what I needed to in the fourth. Big time throws, big time plays. Yeah, got the juice. You saw him after the run. The boys like him in the locker room. You saw how they celebrated. I'm there. I think that's a guy. Hey, look, that's a guy. You gotta be a guy.
Wow.
You gotta be a guy to do that.
You gotta be a guy to do that.
He's a guy. Or 3 touchdowns.
Or you're playing a defense that's already suspect, missing maybe their 3 best players on defense. Jay Johnson, TJ Edwards, Kyler Gordon, all out. So
we see young quarterbacks fold in that situation all the time.
He did nothing the first 3 quarters. Then he was getting by the way, what do we talk about this all the time too as well, Nick? What happens when your defense is on every fucking down in the second half?
They get tired, yeah.
Interesting. So the Bears are doing nothing on offense in the second half. It's 3 and outs all day, all over the place. Literally 0 going on. The defense is planted on the field. You combine missing your 3 top players on defense with being on the field the entire second half and then giving up some points. Like you're more times than not going to give up points in that situation. JJ McCarthy being a guy because he played a bad Bears defense, missing their top 3 guys that was on the field the entire second half. I pumped the brakes. The whole JJ McCarthy thing needs to be pumped ASAP. I look, I like a lot of the things he did in the fourth. You know what happens here, Nick? This is where the gamblers make their money. Everybody's like, oh yeah, JJ McCarthy, clicked for him. He's all good. Where does Minnesota go? Wait till Minnesota plays somebody that's like really stacked on D. And then we'll talk about JJ McCarthy.
Don't they play the Bengals?
Well, that's not one.
Oh, no, they play the Vikings. I'm sorry, they play the Falcons.
Where at?
Stacking wins in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's a W. But
stacking wins.
This is what I'm talking about when it comes to like betting spots and finding spots. Everybody loves JJ McCarthy. He's this, he's that. He had 3 good drives against a defense that was extremely tired, that was missing 3 top guys. That's how I look at it. So we'll see how it shakes.
I'm not saying I'm ready to bet on the guy. All I'm saying is that
you said he's a guy. You said he's a guy.
All I'm saying is that showed me quite a bit. I saw what I needed to see.
Okay.
I saw what I needed to see. I like how he carries himself.
But just to play contrarian, nobody saw what they needed to see from Caleb in the first half. Right? Like that's not an argument. But JJ played some of the worst football I've ever seen for 3 quarters. That was some of the poorest quarterbacking I've seen in quite some time. And in the fourth, against a tired defense missing 3 guys, he started putting it together a little bit. That's all you need to see?
Yeah. That's it.
I'm
good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm
All
good.
right. Hey, remember that. Everybody listening, remember
I'm
what
good.
Nick said. He's
Yeah.
good on JJ
I'm
McCarthy.
good
That's
on
all you
JJ
need to
McCarthy,
see.
man. I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's go into this week, and then we'll shift over to the NFL or NBA, excuse me. What are you looking at for this week? What matchup do you like? We have the Thursday night game, which is amazing. Commanders at Packers tonight. Numbers 3.5. That's a really fun game. The total's 48.5. That seems high in my opinion. But I'm excited to see if Micah can continue to do what he did in week 1. He only played, I think, 29 snaps, had a sack on Penei Sewell, pressuring. He had pressures, multiple. Can they continue to roll? And then Bills at Jets is interesting.
I was gonna say
a lot of fun matchups.
Bills at Jets sounds like a lot of fun. We didn't really talk too much about the Jets, but if you saw that game last week that they ended up losing, Justin Fields I thought was awesome. The Jets offense looked really good, so I think we'll see what can happen if Justin.
Really
Fields
quick,
can build on that. Yeah.
Hold on, I want to go back before we start talking about a couple of these games. Give me your thoughts on that. Should the Giants go to Jackson Dart, and should we just play first round quarterbacks immediately? Because I think we're speaking out of both sides of our mouth. I'm talking about the media. I'm talking about fans when it comes to quarterbacks and when we should play them and when we shouldn't. Where are you at on Russell Wilson and the Giants and going to Jackson Dart? And then you mentioned, should people just flat out start first round quarterbacks ASAP?
Well, that's what it seems like, right? It's almost like if you do start the guy, it's kind of like, all right, we're riding with this guy. We'll kind of see what happens. If you don't, it's just like a countdown until that guy starts, right? Like this is after week 1. Obviously, Russell Wilson didn't play well, but we're already ready to bring in Jackson Dart. So it's almost like, look, if you're gonna do it, just do it. If not, shut it down completely. Like don't leave the door open. I think when they asked Dayball about it, he was very non-committal. And clearly Russell's going to start on Sunday, but it's like, shut the door completely. You can always come back down the line and open it up, but shut the door completely or start the young guy. And I think we're almost at a point now where like the expectation is that these guys are going to start day 1. So like, yeah, I was almost wanting to throw it back to you. Like, where are you on this whole thing? Like, if you're drafting a guy in those first 30-something picks, like, are you starting him from day 1? Is it situational? Like, how do you handle that? Because I just think, like, no matter what it is, they have 2 veterans on that roster. They have Winston behind Russell Wilson. People forget. So you can make the pivot to Winston. But I just feel like, look, you throw Dart in there, it sucks. You can't really come back from that.
I think throughout NFL history, first-year quarterbacks fresh out of college haven't played very well. And you need to have a ton of patience. And you're going to need to have a ton of patience in year 2 if they get the first year off. Like JJ McCarthy, there's going to be times where it's like, this dude looks horrible, right? I think as a franchise, you need to have a plan and you need to stick to it and you need to ignore all the other noise. For example, it was really easy for the Vikings to sit JJ McCarthy last year because they had a plan that they were going to play Sam Darnold and Sam Darnold was going to be good enough to keep them in contention and win a lot of games. And then next year, no matter what, we're going to go to JJ McCarthy. That was clearly the plan in Minnesota. I don't think they were expecting to win 15 games.
Well, so was McCarthy never going to start or just because he got hurt?
So, I mean, look, Nick, have you ever heard of a guy missing an entire football season for a meniscus?
Yeah.
Like, it's clear to me that
they just kept him out.
They're just like, we don't just, you sit back, learn. This is clearly a red shirt type of situation. He's in the building every week. He's never out of the building. He's here all the time. He's
getting mental reps.
Mental reps, you know what I mean? So like that was the situation. Now, when you're like the Chicago Bears and you have Justin Fields and you don't have a plan and Andy Dalton is getting snaps, then it's easy to succumb to that pressure or be under pressure all the time to get him out of the way, right? It's easy to transition to Pat Mahomes after year 1 when he sat behind Alex Smith, who was winning games. You get what I'm saying? So if you feel as if the guy you're drafting is going to need some time, you need to have a guy that could play well enough to keep it afloat. Russell Wilson from the start was never going to play well enough to keep things afloat enough to where you could fade the Jackson Dart talk every single week. And you need to be strong enough as a front office, as a coach, to know if he's ready or not. And if he's not, you just have to run Russell Wilson out there week in, week out, and essentially defend it and defend Jackson Dart and protect Jackson Dart. That's your job as the head coach. So Daboll and those guys are in an uphill battle because if they feel like Jackson's not ready, because from what I gather, Nick, these coaches know deep down if the guy's going to play well or not. Like,
For sure.
It's not a mystery that Caleb Williams had a stretch during that game where he didn't look very well. If you go back to what Ben Johnson has said multiple times throughout training camp was, we threw a lot at him. He's still trying to work through it.
Right.
He never sounded super comfortable about Caleb and coming into the year and off and running week one. So they know deep down, like, if this guy can play. All the other things start to come into play. Job security, the pressure from the front office, the ownership, pressure from fans. You have to be able to mitigate that and control it. And that's how you should approach the quarterback. Or you have a plan, like the Falcons with Kirk Cousins to Penix, or all the other teams I just laid out. Like CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels, those dudes are an anomaly. And if it went south early, it would have been a tough thing to turn around. So that's my take on it. I think you have to have a plan. Jordan Love sits. They had a plan.
For years.
That was never going to play.
Yeah.
Right? Like never ever was going to play. And now if you go back and think about it, think about the guys that were probably never going to play in their first year. JJ McCarthy, the jury's still out, but he looked really good to close that game. Michael Penix was never going to play in year one until Kirk literally fell off the face of the earth. And it was towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
So Jordan Love, when he got drafted, 0% chance he was going to play year one. And if you look at a lot of those guys, Penix looked solid in week one. Jordan Love is now a max guy and is a Super Bowl contender for a lot of people in the NFC. So if you go through the line of players that got to sit and the team had a plan for them to sit, they're in a lot better shape than a lot of these other guys. And I don't really want to go down the road of the Caleb thing and how we dusted off a year and now he has to reset. Like, we all know that. But, yeah, I think you better be sure your boy can play if you're going to put him out there. If not, you have to do everything in your power to protect him and wait as long as you possibly can to put him on the field.
Yeah, and I think while you were talking, one name came to mind throughout all this was Anthony Richardson. I think is the prime example. When he was drafted, everybody was like, "Hey, this is gonna take time. This guy has elite physical skills that might wow you in practice, but you cannot rush it with him. You can't rush it with him. He needs to learn this. He needs to learn that. There's just a lot that needs to be improved on to kind of build on those physical skills. What the Colts do, they threw him out there right away." Because he looked awesome in some preseason games because he's a freak athlete and he's a bigger dude on the field. And now here we are, fast forward 3 years later, he has subbed himself out of football games. He's now gotten replaced by Daniel Jones. And it's kind of just an all-around disaster. And it's did they handle that correctly? Could we have been in a different spot had you actually slow-rolled these guys? We start talking about saving your job. If you're Daboll, the best way to save your job, honestly, is to throw Dart out there and have a little bit of success and say, hey, look, what I'm saying is resonating with this guy. But for Jackson Dart, especially behind that Giants offensive line that looked awful on Sunday, do you really want to do that to the kid? Do you want to throw him out there, especially if you had questions about him? So yeah, I think you're right, man. I think you got to be 100%, certain that the guy's ready to play. And if he's not, you need to be consistent that he's not. You can't waffle back and forth. You can't leave the door open. Like I said, you can always reopen that door later down the line.
I think coaches should do more of coming out and saying, he's not ready to play.
He's not ready to play.
Next question.
Yeah.
And use that as a protective thing. Because if you nothing really matters until you get on the field. So, like Jackson, the Jackson coach said you're not ready to play. It's like, yeah, I'm just trying to get better. I'm working at it every single week. But like that would put out a lot of smoke, and then he will be ready to play come week 11. But it's also this middling piece where it's like teams are throwing away seasons because they don't have anybody to play quarterback. But like that's what it is, and that's why you got to be prepared and come in and have a guy that could help you try to win games. So yeah, man, it's a really interesting situation, the whole Jackson Dart thing, because Russell Wilson was probably the wrong pickup, and if anything, the Giants should go to Jameis.
I would go to Jameis.
I'd go to Jameis all day.
I would have went to Jameis before I went to Russ.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this Russ shit's just like respect for the career. I think he's getting additional respect and opportunity because of what he's done throughout his career, but he looks awful, man.
Looked awful in the Steelers season too. So
yeah, no doubt. All right, really quick, since we burned up, because we just chat, man. I'm happy to be back, man. 48 minutes, really quick. Give me a game you're looking forward to this week. We just talked about the Thursday night game is awesome. Maybe the best week. That might be the best game on the entire board.
I mean, we have a Super Bowl rematch on Sunday afternoon, so I'm looking forward to that one. Chiefs Eagles. I think that'll be a fun game.
Oh, it's in Philly too. Oh no, it's in Kansas City.
It's in Kansas City. Yeah, it's in Kansas City. So I think Chiefs Eagles will be a lot of fun. That's we always talk about it the fourth prime time, that Sunday afternoon on Fox. So yeah, looking forward to that game. Obviously, like I said, I'm looking forward to Bills and Jets. But yeah, I think that's Chiefs Eagles is number one for me, man. I want to see if the boys can bounce back on a very, 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 very tough matchup on a team that just destroyed them 6 months ago. So
yeah, favorite on the road are the Philadelphia Eagles, -1.5 right now, -125 on the money line.
When is the last time the Chiefs got points at home?
Yeah, it's a good question.
It can't be. I mean, it can't be any time since they've won their first Super Bowl, right?
And if it has been, it's been once or twice.
Yeah,
maybe.
I would be surprised if it's ever happened. It would have to be a matchup like this. It had to be this exact situation. They're coming off a loss against a team they just lost to in the Super Bowl. Like,
I bet you it was tight week 1 last year when they played Baltimore. I don't remember the number, but
they were just won the Super Bowl. There's no way the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, but still,
there's no way the Chiefs were coming off of a Super Bowl win, getting points.
Yeah, you're probably right.
There's no way.
It was short, but
yeah, there's no way. When is the last time the Super Bowl winners came into week 1 getting points?
We got to get you down to Arrowhead, bro. You'd have a ball down there. We get you all Chiefs out, bro. We get you we get you a little Mahomes wig and shit. Get you a little man. Chiefs Kingdom shirt.
Shout out Pat Mahomes.
All right, let's move over to the NBA, because a lot of people are up in arms about some things that Adam Silver said. He had a quote. Well, basically the reporter said it's very expensive to watch the NBA as a fan. You got to have League Pass. You got to have Peacock. You got to have Amazon. You got to have a lot of different things. But in that same breath, 75 marquee games are going to be played essentially on national television, where a lot of people will be able to access it for quote unquote free. But the quote that's going viral is, Adam Silver said the NBA is a highlight league, and if you don't have access to every single game that you want because you don't have the money to pay for the packages, you can catch a lot of highlights across the board. I'll read the full question. And I quote, "It's become very expensive to watch NBA as a fan, not just going to games, but also in order to." We won't even talk about going to sporting events in general, but there's different streaming services you have to subscribe to. RSNs are expensive. I know there are other points of entry for fans to interact with the NBA. There's social media, a lot of younger fans. That's how they're experiencing the sport. But I wonder how much you think about that and how that will shape the next generation of fans, that it's just really expensive to watch games. Adam Silver, and I quote, "I think about it a lot. I will say, I saw your story, your publication ran. You took all the different streaming services and added them up at what these costs would be. I look at it a little bit differently, because most people can only consume so many games. By way of one example, in these new media deals, we're going from essentially 15 exposures on broadcast television to 75. So the extent someone wants to put little rabbit ears on their television, you could still get 75 marquee games in essence for free in the marketplace. I'd say in addition to that, and this is ongoing issue for a league, there's a huge amount of our content that people are essentially consumed for free. That is very much a highlight. This is very much a highlight-based sport. So Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, you name it, any service, the New York Times for that matter, to the extent that your content is being behind a paid firewall, there's an enormous amount of content out there. YouTube, another example that is advertising based on that consumers can consume. And I'm going to put up the whole quote on screen, but he's saying, look, yes, you got to pay for some of this shit, but a lot of this content is free across the board, and people are making money against that. What are your thoughts on what Adam Silver said? And, of course, people picking out a 15-second clip of him saying, this is a highlight league.
This is exactly what I'd expect Adam Silver to say, given the situation. The reality is they have sold out all these games to the streaming services. And if you are like a real NBA fan and you want to catch these big games, you do have to be signed up to a bunch of different ones. I get that, yes, you're going to put a bunch of games on NBC, which essentially people get for free if they have the bunny ears on their television or if they have, YouTube TV or any of these other things. So I get what he's trying to say. He's trying to add some spin to it, saying, well, look, you still can catch the highlights, and that's how a lot of people consume our league anyways, which if I'm one of the broadcast partners doesn't necessarily make me very happy because it's like, well, I don't want them watching the highlights. Yeah. I want them watching the games that I just paid billions of dollars to broadcast. So I think for like the long-term health of the league, and we talk about probably the NBA's biggest issue, which is overall viewership of the actual games, he kind of said the quiet part out loud, if we're being honest. Right? Like everybody knows that's the NBA's dirty little secret is people don't really watch the games, but they consume the content. People follow the players, but they're not necessarily sitting around on a Tuesday night watching games like you and I do. Not like they used to, and definitely not to the level of which they watch like the NFL and things like that, right? So I think he acknowledged that and said we are still reaching a lot of our fan base because a lot of our fan base doesn't watch the games anyways, which I think is very, very telling.
So he's telling the truth.
He's telling the truth. That was brutally honest. I mean, that, and we know that, right?
Too truthful.
It's way too truthful. They're not y'all are complaining about watching the games, but when we gave them to you easily accessible, you ain't watching them anyway. So I'm going to divide the pie and get as much money as I can. We'll continue to pump to the highlight shows, House of Highlights, whoever it might be, TikTok and all that. And we'll throw you some games that are big that you can find if you have bunny ears or you have a basic package.
Yeah, I had no problem with what he said. People were kind of upset that this is a highlight league, but I think a vast majority of people have a lot of the outlets that if you're a sports fan, you have a vast majority of these outlets, and there's a lot of different ways to watch hoops if you really want to. There's Stream East. Someone said it's still up and back, better than ever. They were watching NFL Week 1.
Oh, there we go. There's another site I know that people are talking about. Yeah, there'll be a bunch.
Oh, you say you don't want to put it out on the street?
I don't know what it is. I just remember someone tweeted about it. Look, I'm a sucker. I pay for everything, so I don't even need them at this point. But yeah.
Yeah, there's that. No, that peace of mind of knowing I'm going to be able to turn it on and watch it without ads popping up or refreshing or refurbishing and all types of shit is
and we're getting squeezed. Like this whole streaming thing is the biggest squeeze that's ever happened to us. Like, oh yeah, cut the cord, you'll save money. It's da-da-da-da. It's like, no, it's not. It's more convenient. I can watch it. I can watch YouTube TV wherever I'm at, but I'm paying more than I was ever paying for cable, especially when you add in Amazon Prime, Netflix, HBO Max, fucking Peacock. You watch soccer, you got Peacock, you gotta have Peacock, you gotta have Paramount Plus, you gotta have BN Sports.
Yeah. I got the
F1 TV.
I got the tennis package.
Oh, so you got
I've been watching a ton of so I got all that, but really the only thing on there is Red Zone and then the tennis channel that I even watch.
Yeah, but you're paying for all the other ones.
But I think it's like $14.99 or something too.
Well, and YouTube TV keeps raising the price every like 6 months. I get an email saying, "Oh yeah, we're raising our price." Remember,
I actually should cancel that shit.
Yeah,
YouTube
for real.
TV was a 60 ball. It's like 85 now.
It's like 85
90 ball.
now. Yeah.
Base
Squeeze,
package.
man.
So,
Listen, man, we can go on for hours about the squeeze, but it's all good.
but yeah, I have no problem with what Adam Silver said. I think it was just a little too honest, probably.
Yeah.
And being the commissioner is a tough gig. Like, everyone wants more revenue. This is the way to get more revenue. People are asking you, how do I watch more games? But I have 75 marquee games that are going to be as easily accessible as you want them. But that's an issue. I think my only gripe, Nick, that needs to be figured out is if I pay for League Pass, my shit shouldn't be blacked out locally. That's ridiculous. I don't care that where I'm at. If I pay for League Pass, there shouldn't be any blackouts. I should be able to turn on any game I want at any time. They should figure that out with the regional network and whatever, because
especially in Chicago.
What are we doing?
Have a situation where now the Bulls, the White Sox, and the Blackhawks are on a channel that now people have because it is on Comcast, but it's still not on YouTube TV or anything like that. And he went the entire year last year where people literally could, like we joke about the antenna. You actually had to have an antenna to watch the Bulls, Blackhawks, and White Sox for an entire season. Yeah. Like an actual antenna. I had to buy one. It didn't even work. So I ended up returning it, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not watching the team. But yeah, we're looking at another year of not being able to watch Bulls games, which is ludicrous because I do pay for the NBA League Pass. I can watch the Pelicans versus the fucking Grizzlies on a Thursday afternoon, but I cannot watch a Bulls game.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. So stay tuned on that. I'm excited to see the rollout and how difficult it is to figure out where the game is going to be played on. Because, hey, man, Monday, Wednesday, where was it, Nick? ESPN. Yep. Tuesday, Thursday, TNT. Saturday night, ABC. That was what it like. That
Sunday afternoon, ABC.
Yeah, like that was it. It was easy.
Was it. Yeah.
Like there's definitely going to be a couple of nights where I'm like, man, where am I going to watch this? Like,
yeah, right.
So, but like in the NFL's defense, that was kind of the conversation around that too. Like, it's on Netflix, and where is it going to be?
It was on YouTube the other day.
People figure it out, and you find it, and you watch it, and you gamble on it, and that's it.
But see, I think the argument is that like we're willing to do that, but to the average fan who's like not as like because we've been doing it with the NFL, we've been doing it with other stuff,
and like the next generation.
The older generation. It's just jumping through a lot of hoops to figure it out, and like. Yeah, you and I can find where the games are, right? Like, I'm sure there'll be like a Reddit post that's going to show, but like, we're resourceful in that way, and we're very motivated to find the games.
Yeah.
They're making it so, like, if your motivation isn't at a high level to find the games, you might just say, fuck it, man. Yeah. I don't want to go on Google, find out where this is, launch this app. Oh, I forgot my password to Peacock. I got to log in. Do I even have a Peacock account? Fuck it. By that time, I'm not even watching. What's Peacock? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I get where they're coming from, but that is also just the future, and it's where we're at. Like, it's where we're at, man. That's what it's going to be for everything. So, I mean, they're just moving forward.
Another big thing out of the NBA. Shams Charania, my guy, Chicago's own, tweeted out that the NBA is now going to implement a change. Unsuccessful end-of-period heaves will now be recorded as a missed field goal attempt for the team, not the player. Those long heaves will no longer have impact on individuals' shooting percentage. Now,
if you make it, do you get it?
No, I don't think so. It's a good question, actually. I don't know. It says unsuccessful end-of-period heaves. So maybe if you make it, you get it.
I know why they're doing it. Some guys have it in their contracts that you need to hit a certain, like shoot over 40% from 3-point and you get a bonus. So you're not taking that heave. That's the only reason I could think as to why you do that, to help to protect people's percentages, but for a contract consideration.
So some people were up in arms about this. I saw a couple tweets that players are so weak, just shoot it. I think the NBA should have took a stand here. We can't have it both ways as NBA fans and analysts especially. This guy's a bum. He shoots 36% from 3, this, that, and the third. You go through all these analytical things, and we start talking about contracts and people making money. We're looking at numbers. A guy tweeted, shout out SkyGodX. A good example is Jokic had 331 attempts from three last year. He made 138. That's 41.7%. Out of the 331, 22 of them were heaves. He only made 2. If you remove the heaves, or so you take out those 20 misses, it goes to 44.4%.
Yeah,
that's a big fucking difference.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about even historically years down the road, like, man, there was 3 years in a row where Jokic shot 40 plus 44% from three. You wouldn't be able to say that with the heaves. And there's a lot of like analytical stuff where you could pull out like just where he got that number from, where you could pull out heaves and garbage time numbers, etc. But when you're just getting down to the nitty gritty and you start looking at guys that shoot the ball from three, you could put 3 percentage points on his numbers if he removes the half court jumpers. Yeah. He's one of the only guys that's actually taking it all the time. A lot of guys are holding it and waiting. But
for that very reason.
Yeah, this doesn't bother me. Like, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
We want guys to take the heaves. Why not let them put them up and put them against the team shot attempts? It's just like the team turnovers when you get caught with the ball at the end of the game.
Well, what you don't want is a situation where guys aren't shooting them because they're worried about their percentage and it could end up impacting the game. So
correct.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. People are always fucking mad about everything here at any point in time. What's considered a heave is my question. It had to be behind half court.
I think it could be a heave if it's a lot. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, or behind.
Like, what's a heave? Like, you got to be behind the free throw line extended on the other side of the court.
Yeah, is it time based or is it distance based?
No, it's got to be distance based. No, is it 60?
Because if it's time
60 feet or more.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm with. Let them change it. Let the players' numbers bolster, and you'll get more attempts out of guys trying to knock down shots from deep. So is that so? You're with me?
Yeah, I got no problem with it. It's fine. Absolutely no problem with it. Yeah, I think, again, especially when we start talking about guys' contracts. And then, again, like the fact that someone could hold it and not shoot it, and it could impact a game because they're worried about losing some money. Who was the guy? There was a guy like 5 years ago who needed to hit like 1-3 to get his percentage over 40%. And he hit it. I think he was on Portland. He hit it. And then he spent the rest of the game not shooting threes.
Yeah, he's like, I'm good.
Like a running thing. He's like, there's zero chance I'm going to shoot a three. I forget who it was, man. I think it was Mo Harkless. It was Mo Harkless. Shout out Mo Harkless.
Let me see about, shout out Mo Harkless.
This has to be the first Mo Harkless reference on the podcast.
Yeah, Mo Harkless 3-point percentage.
Mo Harkless bonus, right?
He was most notably associated with 2016-17 season when he hit 35.1% from three-point range, which triggered a $500K bonus in his contract, leading him to strategically avoid attempting threes in the final games of that season.
That's hey, whoa, hot potato.
Yo, for half a mil, I'm giving it up.
I need that. And it's not like Mo was out here making 40 mil. Mo's like, no, I need that 500. Y'all got me fucked up. Don't put me in the corner, coach. Not a chance.
Man.
I'm not firing. Yeah, it was Mo Harkless. Shout out Mo Harkless. So yeah, when you got shit like that, so like, yeah, in that situation, there's zero chance that Mo Harkless is shooting a half court heave. That's essentially going to cost him $500,000. Like, no chance.
That night, if he went 0 for 4, it would have went 34. 2 for 4 is over 35%. 1 for 3 is over 35%.
I'm not taking any chances.
He hit 1 of 1, I think.
I'm not taking any chances.
That's amazing.
Not a chance.
I completely forgot about that story. Shout out Mo Harkless.
Yeah, what a great clause.
Get paid.
Yep.
Get paid, young fella.
Take care of your chickens.
Take care of your chickens. All right. Hey, man, let's close it out here. Nick, I was in Tampa. I tweeted this. I ordered 4 drinks, brother. I got a Bud Light draft, an IPA draft, a whiskey soda. Or no, it was a whiskey ginger and a tequila soda. It was $24.50. I haven't bought a single drink in New York for under $25. One. a cocktail. Maybe Florida does have it figured out. And by the way, I think I'm gonna go on record and say this. Best wings I've ever had, Tampa Bay, Florida. This place called Hat Tricks. They like double bake, then fried them, garlic hot sauce, garlic buffalo hot. Insane. Shout out Hat Tricks. Hey man, maybe Tampa Bay does and Florida does have it figured out. I got 4 drinks for $25. I know where you stand on the prices of things nowadays.
Oh, listen, man, I've been saying this forever. It's out of control, man. We're getting squeezed. I've been telling you this for the last year consistently. The squeeze is real. I travel around the country. I see the squeeze all over. Whether you're trying to buy a loaf of bread, whether you want to get a bottle of water. I forget where I was the other day, and like some that used to cost like $1.50 is now like $3.50. You told me your story about what were you were purchasing some rice. The price of the rice doubled.
I'll tell you the quick story. So me and my girl eat a good amount of rice, but not like crazy amounts. So we usually get a 40-pound bag on Amazon. It's like the jasmine long-haired rice or whatever. So it takes us like a couple years to eat it. This specifically bag, we hadn't ordered one in 3 years. 3 years ago, it was $19. I went to reorder the same bag of rice. It was $46. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, man, 3 years later, it had almost like 55, 60% or 120% price increase.
It's really crazy. Like we were looking at places to go for spring break this year. So like, with the 3 of us, my girl and my daughter, to go to Mexico, they want $1,200 a ticket.
Flight?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm out. So you mean to tell me before I even touch down,
you have 4 racks,
4 bands to go to Mexico,
like, and legitimately 4 bands because the Uber and the eat when you get somewhere,
legitimately $4,000 to hop on
to touch down.
Yeah. So it's like, you're looking at all this shit. So I mean, even like, man, we were looking at flights to California during that time. It's like $800-900, and I'm like, this is crazy out here, man. I'm gonna spend $3,000 just to get somewhere.
They go pure Michigan.
What? Yeah,
pure Michigan,
Michigan City. We're gonna go to the Econo Lodge in Gary.
Yeah, we're going to Indiana Dunes.
Wisconsin Dells. Indiana Dunes. Nah, for
Dunes,
real. Listen, man. So if anybody knows any spring break spots that I can get to for under $900 a ticket, let me know. I'm all ears at this point.
No, man, that's real.
My amen is real quick, but I do think it's gotten out of control. The former NBA player podcast situation has just gotten out of control, man. We got Vince Carter on podcast. We got T-Mac on podcast. Every time I scroll the timeline, I see some NBA player retelling me about their career that I watched. And they're telling me something different than what I saw. T-Mac. You know what I'm saying?
I was there.
I was there.
I saw this.
T-Mac.
This is not what happened.
T-Mac, awesome player. Way ahead of his time. Like nowadays, T-Mac is like literally like the prototypical player, a wing that can do absolutely everything, can shoot, can handle the rock, can rebound, you can run the show through him, like all of that, can pass, do everything. T-Mac is also one of the most epic playoff non-performers we've ever seen in our entire life, right? Like these are both true. T-Mac is walking around on these pods talking like he's Kobe. Like I remember a time
he was
when T-Mac
a killer though.
Didn't get out of the first round his entire prime of his career.
Correct.
But no, T-Mac was absolutely a killer. This is not like an anti-T-Mac case, but he's just like one of the guys that I've seen kind of coming on and puffing his chest. And shout out T-Mac. Look, if I'm T-Mac, people might have forgotten about you. You want to come out and let people know you were one of them? Like, absolutely.
Yeah. One of those ones?
Vince Carter doing his legendary great, I'm Vince Carter, great player, great teammate guy. Completely conveniently forgetting that year in Toronto where he averaged 13 points a game when he wanted to get traded. I'll never forget. I was there.
That's one thing that VC has completely scrubbed from.
Everybody has.
He quit.
We pulled the numbers. He was averaging 27 a game. Wanted to leave Toronto. Averaged 15 a game. Got traded to where did he end up finishing his?
The New Jersey,
awesome. To New Jersey, and was averaging 30 again. Never seen anything like it. So, but again, just overall, man, some of these hoops players podcasts, they're great for the stories, but I also feel like every single one of these guys has to have a story, and you can tell they're all a bit exaggerated. But yeah, man, shout out the NBA players podcast, but it's a little bit too much.
In 04-05 for Toronto, he played 20 games. He averaged 15.9 points. He got moved. He played 56 games. He averaged 27.5 points.
Who's my man that used to play for North Carolina? He has a podcast.
Hey, career high, by the way. 27.5 points over 56 games.
Who? T-Mac?
Yeah. Or no, this is VC. When he got traded.
Oh, Vince. Oh, yeah.
When he got moved.
Yeah, 15 points.
He started going ballistic.
Of course. He was gone. He was free.
What a great career, man. 22 years.
Awesome career, man. He was getting, by the end of the year, by the end of the last 3 years, he was just getting paid by the Hawks just to be there.
Dude, it's crazy how long some of these legends end up staying in. Like, okay, he's a killer in Toronto, obviously. He continues to be, he plays 3 really good years in Toronto. He's in Jersey, 2-time All-Star. 06-07 played all 82, averaged 25 All-Star. It starts to tail off, but like he went to Orlando in 09-10 and essentially bounced around the league for 1, 2, 6, 7, 8.
For like 11 years.
11, 13 more seasons.
Yeah. Got paid. Probably made an extra $50 million.
Never averaged more than 17 points those last 13 years. And yeah, he probably made a brick.
Yeah, he'll make the Hall of Fame. Is he a Hall of Famer already?
No, I think he needs he just
he was inducted as player
the other day.
24.
Yeah, like last year. Yeah. Shut up. Yeah, it was all over TNT.
That's right. I talked about it. Yeah, and that's what I think we had this conversation last year about Vince Carter's Hall of Fame, because I'll never let him live it down, and to me, he's not a Hall of Famer because of that.
Hey man, who are you listening to though? Who would you what NBA pods are you interested in?
I still think Gil's Arena is great.
They keep it a bean.
I never listened to Podcast P with Paul George. I think that's the most ridiculous one of all of them. Shouldn't even have one. I think Garnett and Paul Pierce's shit is funny because you never know what Paul Pierce is going to be on, like when he was drunk.
The OG ones are good. Up in Smoke is good.
Up in Smoke is still great. Man, who's the dude? It's actually pretty good. He's a former North Carolina guy. It's called Run Your Race. Played in the NBA, man. What's his name, dude? You know who he is.
Run Your Race. It's not McCants?
No, McCants is the worst.
Is it Danny Green?
Theo Pinson. Theo Pinson's podcast is actually decent. Yeah, Theo Pinson's podcast is actually decent. I watched the clips from Teague's shit, but I think Teague's shit has kind of gotten a little crazy.
Oh, AJ Richardson. Okay,
yeah. I get a lot of clips.
I've never.
I get a lot of clips from it. He's got some good highlights on his shit because he gets good interviews.
I like it. All right,
who did D-Rose sit down with? Oh, and Tony Allen. Tony Allen shit's funny too. Tony Allen and Zebo have a pod.
Tony Allen is hilarious. Tony Allen is. I fucking love Tony Allen. Have I ever told that Tony Allen story on the pod before?
Nah.
You know what I'm talking about? Where I saw him in the elevator?
Nah, never. I've never.
In Vegas?
No.
For another time. Tony Allen's the man. We'll leave it there. No Catch Up, Sports Talk via Chicago. For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. Make sure you subscribe, like, share everywhere. We're back. We're rolling. Let's get it, man.